Welcome one and all to the Back of the Nest Preview Podcast. I'm your host Terence Ford, and it's time to build you up to Crystal Palace's visit to the Amex, hot on the heels of our 2-1 victory at the Den. Hesketh, back-to-back bruisers.
Yeah, very intimidating. I'm sure it's going to be on the South Coast, just like it was very scary against Millwall.
Yeah, Albert has been inspired by our trip to the Den and is currently wearing a... What's that? What would you describe that flat cap as, Hesketh?
Is it a peak cap?
Ard?
I don't know.
Ard? Double Ard?
Well Ard, yeah.
A Dawdy Caco, I think you'll find it's called.
Yeah. All you're missing is your black taxi in the background, mate. But before we get into this, let's get into this.
I'm thirsty. I want a beer. What about you? You want a beer?
In honour of Michael Elise, I've gone for the Equalizer IPA this week by
Very good.
Former friends of the pod, Tiny Rebel.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was a bottle or something in reference to all the shit he got thrown at him, but...
Welcome to our world. Eye hazy, nose juicy, taste pine tropical.
You wanky.
Equalizer, a finely tuned hazy IPA. That's good. It's going to be a good one tonight, people.
Do you reckon you're going to do a spin-off in the summer of ASMR, where it's just you supping cans of beer and making noises of enjoyment down the microphone?
What's ASMR? Is that like some kind of kinky stuff that I don't know about?
But it's where people listen to other people make very satisfying noises very close up to a microphone. I hope I've got that right. I'm not great with acronyms.
Can you do an impression of... Can you do it?
No.
You're right, you can't.
Yes.
I know you've got one, Albert. How would you respond to supping on that bottle of Budweiser?
Closer to the microphone, please, Albert.
Hourly. Four for £4.50 in the co-op. Something like that.
Great. Perfect.
Cool. I think Equalizer might be about $4.50 a can, ordering direct from them. God knows how much it'd be in a shop.
Hint. Send Terence more free beer, please.
Yes, not to the address in Hertfordshire. Thank you very much. So, Millwall, still excited, still buzzing about it. Great day out. Really enjoyed it sort of on and off. I'll get into it. How was your experience, Hesketh? Missed it after 9 years?
Well, not really. When we were walking down Coward's Way or whatever they call it, I was just reminded of what an absolute shithole it is. And I got to say, at half time, I sort of wasn't really missing it at all. But within 15 minutes of the second half starting, I was loving it again, especially seeing all the angry little boys down the front at the in the home end. It was well worth the visit.
Albert, you walked. You didn't get the coach, did you? You didn't get the train. You didn't do Coward's Way.
No, well, no. I did Coward's Way on the way out, but I had no choice. I walked from Bermondsey. Noticed a lot of people with, and listen, I'm assuming they were Millwall fans. Noticed a lot of people with hoodies that had like goggles in the hoodie. When did that become?
Oh, they're kind of old, those things. They've existed for a while now.
Do you reckon?
Because I was worried about sounding like, approaching middle age. What's this newfangled thing with goggles? But the people wearing them were like about 10 years older than me. So,
do you reckon that next week, then going by the hat this week, next week you'll be wearing a hoodie with the goggles?
Maybe I will.
Yeah, perfect.
Maybe I will. £6 Streatham High Road. This flat cap. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
10 years ago.
Now that I know it's from Streatham, I'm all for it. That's fine.
Yeah,
Carry on.
exactly. But no, the Den was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, the review show obviously covered all. I mean, it's all over social media. Covered the fruitier, nastier aspects of it, which was sort of depressing to watch, and only made beating them more enjoyable. The Mateta celebration might be one of the best things I've ever seen. Yeah, it's gone straight into my probably top 3 away days, just as a pure fuck you to all those. I'm just going to say it, cunts.
Yeah, I mean, it is that. Just with each Millwall fan video that got released, the footage just got better and better until you finally ended up with that one where you can fully see Elise the entire time, just get picked up and flung around and seamlessly just starts walking towards the Millwall fans on the spin with his hand just shushing the crowd. Got all the way up to them as well, like did not back down, did not flinch from anything that was thrown at him. Beautiful. Absolutely.
Quite enjoyed that the end of that video had just a chair being thrown on the pitch. That was also quite funny.
It was beautiful, man. So the fans, when he's like just calling him, "You fucking schlag." You fucking schlag. Fuck you, you schlag. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. Afterwards, I did actually see you on the platform of South Bermondsey station, but I was with someone who was his first ever away game, was feeling a little bit nervous about things. And we'd just missed our direct train to Palace, so we had to wait, and we was ended up being on the platform for over 20 minutes. And slowly the trains come and went, and there was police, and then all of a sudden the police left when the last London Bridge train left. And there was about 30 Palace at one end of the platform and 30 Millwall at the other end of the platform, where the police had vacated and just left us all on our own. And you could cut the tension with a knife. Like, unfortunately, nobody did cut any tension with the knife. But but sort of standing, glaring at each other moodily from one end of the platform to the other. But of course, there are normal Millwall fans as well who aren't up for a ruck all the time, as you well know with your friend Hesketh, who's what did he say? He wasn't too happy with his boys, was he?
No, I texted him after the game and said, actually, I didn't think they played too bad, and he was just like, no issue with the result. He'd said to me before the game that he was worried about Elise because he saw how good he was when he played for Reading. But yeah, he was just says he hates it, like he's surrounded by people being racist and homophobic and booing the knee and all that, and he's as far from that as you can get. So he's, he just wants to go and watch his football team. They're his local team, his family all support them. But it's just, there's that backdrop all the time. And I think it being a game against Palace, where obviously the ground is a lot more full than it normally is, it just amplifies it a lot. And yeah, he just, he thinks it's shameful, is what he said to me. He hates it, because he just wants to go watch some football. But yeah, he's not one of these people that sort of defends it or says that the media's out to get him or any of that sort of stuff. So he's got his head screwed on, thankfully.
Yeah, as we've learned over the last few days, is their slogan should actually be "No one likes us. We really care." Actually, we
care quite a lot.
We care quite.
No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. You care.
Yeah, but going out against Millwall, all that, you may have seen the Crystal Palace socials shared a tweet about Crystal Palace fan Denny Warren, who passed away. Did either of you two recognise him when they posted this picture?
I recognise him. I don't think I've ever had any interaction with him. But
I had a few interactions with him in the years gone by, and also just remember him from being a kid. Me and my sister and everyone, just every time he walked past us, we'd say, "No, it's Denny," that kind of scenario. But yeah. Millwall back in the 80s, apparently 70s and 80s, used to have posters of him in their pubs with the title "Public Enemy Number One." So if that's how Millwall felt about him. Obviously, a good chap all round. But rest in peace to Denny, and commiserations, and best thoughts out to all of his family members who might be listening.
Yeah, agreed.
The victory at Millwall has handed us a favourable cup draw. What's this now? Albert, I'm gutted that it's not Hartlepool away, because obviously we would have gone up there and had a massive bender, but Hartlepool at home in the fourth round, you've got to fancy our chances in that one.
I mean, yeah, you've jinxed it, clearly. I've been possessed by the spirit of Hesketh. You've jinxed it by saying it's an easy tie. But look, you couldn't ask for a more, no disrespect to Hartlepool, but on paper you couldn't have asked for a more favourable draw.
Hang on, you say no disrespect to Hartlepool, but half their fans was disrespecting us, saying it was a terrible draw and it was boring. So screw us.
Yes, but I'm the better man, clearly. So yeah, on paper, look, I'd rather that than Man City at home or Man City anywhere. And there's a few all Premier League ties, which sort of gets a few big boys out, or bigger boys out of the way, hopefully. I mean, Brighton are out, let's face it, next round. So yeah, look, I don't mind who we get in the cup, but when you get a team that's, significantly smaller, then yeah, all it does is increase your chances of going further in the competition. And, every time I get the train to Palace, I go through the Wembley stations on the overground. I literally have to sit and look at Wembley. I can see the arch in the distance from the top of my road. And yeah, travelling to the Den on Saturday on an FA Cup day, FA Cup third round, which is the best, unless you get to the final. FA Cup third round is the best day in the football calendar. I want to go back there. So yeah, Hartlepool at home, I'll certainly take that.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be one of the ones that get picked up by TV as well. It's infuriating just seeing so many all Premier League games broadcast on the TV in that round.
Whoa! There was Everton Hull.
Yeah, no, on TV. I mean, in terms of like your West Ham Leeds, for example, no one wants to watch West Ham Leeds as a all Premier League FA Cup game. Where was Barnsley Barrow? That 5-4 stormer was just an absolute ridiculous game. It was just, so many teams that can do with the money a lot more and that sort of business. So shame, but you're going to say something?
Yeah, just on that, with the Hartlepool game, I've seen a couple of people have said it on Twitter, and I agree with it, that, we should just give Hartlepool like a very large allocation, not the tickets down to like a tenner. Because I remember when we played Grimsby a few years ago, they brought loads, didn't they? And that was good atmosphere. That was good fun. And you would say that home to Hartlepool.
Were Grimsby on social media saying it was a shit tie though before?
No.
There you go.
Right.
It could be embarrassing. We could give Hartlepool a big allocation, and then not many of them turn up because it's boring.
True. Forget it. 50 quid.
No, I mean, it obviously it's within Hartlepool's interest to sell it out sell as much as they can and get us to sell as many as possible, because you take half the gate, right? That's how it works in the FA Cup, whoever's playing, so, or something along those lines. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
What weekend is the next round of fixtures?
4th of February.
Nice. Kids for a quid, please. Parish. I want to take both children this time.
Yeah, hopefully. But look, it's a good draw, and then puts you into the 5th round if we can get through that tie, and a couple of favourable draws in terms of get Man City against Liverpool in the next round, get Spurs against United, that sort of scenario, and then could all open up for us. So, but just nice to score a cup goal, and one of the cup goals was scored by Jean-Philippe Mateta, obviously. This Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Boom, 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 Mateta's in the room. There ain't no striker better than Jean-Philippe Mateta. Boom, boom, boom. Boy,
you've done me.
You wouldn't sing it to us last week, so You
done
volunteered it in a
yourself.
WhatsApp voice note.
I'll be honest, more than one drink at that point. I mean, I even put, to be fair, there's a video that I put on Instagram of me and Vanessa fucking waving the dog around, singing it to him. Our poor dog gets, I was going to say thrown about before the RSPCA get onto us, if anyone of them listening. I mean it in a nice possible way. But yeah, we were pretty drunk, to be fair, at that point. But what I'm being modest. What an angelic voice.
It's a shame he's going to go because I was looking forward to you singing that on the terraces with you. Although my apparently I'm just crap at making football songs because my Mateta kicks corner flags against all our foes. To what tune is it? Why can't I remember it's by? As in the Scotland get battered everywhere they go. Is it Rotterdam? This could be Rotterdam or anywhere, Liverpool or Rome. Isn't it to that tune?
Don't know. Try it.
Yeah, so it would be Mateta kicks corner flags against all our foes. Mateta kicks corner flags against all our foes. Against all our foes.
Yeah,
it could be everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Hypothetical question: if Jean-Philippe Mateta scores against Brighton on Friday and then goes back to, do you know what? Even if he doesn't go back after that game, would he go down as our greatest loan signing ever? I know. All the headlines are about Conor Gallagher at the moment. Oh, best loan signing ever. Best. If Jean-Philippe Mateta has bagged the goal against Brighton, all right, we'll let him off with the was it the Norwich goal? The Millwall goal, and he scores against Brighton, and then he never plays for the club again. That's got to be up there for best loan signing ever. Discuss.
Well, Albert, it's as if you've read my article I wrote for the BBC today.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Moving on. I didn't mean that question. Hesketh, do a jingle quick. We didn't do the Terence's Media Watch jingle.
So, in my what did I
BBC
write?
Article, yeah, go on.
Yes, so I'm just trying to bring it up. Let's have a look.
I can't believe I hung that one up for you. Livid.
I wrote, Jean-Philippe Mateta is an enigma. The French striker joined Crystal Palace on loan a year ago and has managed just 545 minutes of mostly disappointing football. So, it seems antithetical, can't even say the word, that should his heavily rumoured move to Saint-Etienne materialise in the transfer window, he would depart a cult hero. Goes on, I won't read it all. You go to bbc.co.uk/sport/football/teams Crystal Palace
.org.
.org.no. But yeah, it's true. If in recent memory is one of only two players to score away at Mill and away at Brighton during his Palace career. We were trying to work out going further back who had done it. So Friedman and Mateta have certainly been the only one in recent times. Mark Bright, we think probably did it because we can remember him scoring at Brighton and Millwall. But Brighton might have been in the ZDS, and there's a chance Ian Wright perhaps did it as well. I'm sure if you go further back into the hundreds of, 80 to 100 years ago, there's probably quite a few that did it. But, basically the point is not many people do it. And you win fans over when you score against rivals, particularly when they're winning goals as well, which this one was. And when they're double nutmeg back heels against Brighton, when you only have 2 touches in their boxes. So I basically ended that arc with Patrick Vieira is now faced with a conundrum. Keep Mateta for the last 6 months or cut ties and say thank you for the memories that will last a lifetime. What do you reckon, Hesketh? Stay or go?
I think he should stay. I don't think he's an amazing player, but I enjoy him. Like you say, the 2 goals against the rivals is great. His goal against Norwich was really well taken. I think it's worth having him as an option, even if he's not starting. So I'd keep him. Whether that's in our hands or not, I suppose it. I mean, it should be. I suppose because we'd have to agree to cut the loan, wouldn't we, if we wanted to get rid. But I'd keep him. I'd keep him until the end of the season.
Do you agree, Albert?
I'm not going to let you know. I'm going to leave a comment on your BBC article. You can read it. You can read it there.
Fair enough.
No, yes, I would keep him. Just why not? He's a hero already.
Yeah, absolutely is.
He could be our cup striker. We could only ever play, just play him in the cup. He's clearly, lucky charm. Play him against. He's just a big game striker. That's what he is.
Talking of lucky charms, we signed the Irish player today, and that's just awful. Let's leave that alone. I'm in Block B, row 25 at home, so if any Irish people want to come and slap me about the next home game, feel free. Killian Phillips has signed from Drogheda. Hesketh looks like one for the under 23s. I think it was officially tweeted by the Palace Academy account anyway on Twitter. So do you know much about him?
I know absolutely nothing about him other than he posted an Instagram from the stands, I think at the Southampton game. So I think he's sort of been training with us for a little bit, or the move's sort of been knocking about for a little bit. A couple of replies from Irish sort of League of Ireland fans I saw on Twitter said that he was the best young player in their league, which is good. I mean, like you say, if he's going straight to the under 23s and is, not much pressure, and it's one of those sort of no-lose signings, really. If he turns out to be a bit of a gem, great. If not, we haven't really lost anything. So be interesting to see him play on Palace TV or whatever it's called.
And talking of the under 23s, absolute corker from Raksaki last night against Everton.
It was very good goal.
Yeah, took that really well. Look, zero backlift, looked like he was going nowhere, and just unleashes it out nowhere into the bottom corner. Really, really would like to see him get some minutes this season for the first team or get out to the Championship. I mean, you got to think there's teams that could do with someone like him in the Championship, but who knows at the moment? The AFCON's on. Wingers are away. But Albert, maybe not for long, because Ghana had lost their opening game. So could we be expecting Ayew back sooner than initially feared?
Well, potentially not. I'd like to see, our players do well in international duty, and if that means Ghana do well, then that's great for Jordan Ayew. I mean, obviously we like having our best players around. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure they're all enjoying representing their countries, and it's a good tournament. I like it. It's just it's tucked away on Sky. I think that's the only problem. I remember BBC used to have it, I'm sure, and it sort of bounced around. So I can't say I haven't caught any yet. But when's Wilf playing? Let's put it that way.
Well, Wilf plays tomorrow. But do you want to hear the AFCON results to date?
Yeah.
It opened with Cameroon beating Burkina Faso 2-1. And then since then, Ethiopia 0, Cape Verde 1, Senegal 1, Zimbabwe 0, Guinea 1, Malawi 0, Morocco 1, Ghana 0, Comoros 0, Gabon 1, Algeria 0, Sierra Leone 0, Nigeria 1, Egypt 0, Sudan 0, Guinea-Bissau 0. So there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and there's been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goals in those 9 games.
Fine margins. Tight. What's your point?
It's like Serie A from the early 90s. It's just either everyone's Maldini at the back or...
sorry, I thought you meant Syria. I'm pretty sure they're not in it.
Although Comoros, shout to Comoros, never heard of them. Little island in the ocean, apparently. First ever AFCON for them. So losing 1-0 to Gabon. But what's his chops? Chakou Kouyaté off to a winning start with Senegal.
Mm-hmm.
So
I watched both Senegal and Ghana games yesterday, I think. I mean, if anyone's listening, I was working really hard and wasn't watching.
It was on in the background.
It was on in the background. The Senegal game, Czech was sort of playing as a defensive midfielder, and Zimbabwe didn't really do much going forward, so he was barely on the ball, which is a bit annoying. Ghana game, Ayew ran around a lot, didn't really get much of the ball either, and then got taken off. So, not great. But I did read that in the Sierra Leone game, Sully Kai come on as a sub. So that's pretty good.
Wow. Fair play. I didn't even know he'd got out there.
Yeah.
So Sierra Leone.
And they drew with Algeria, who won it last time, I think, and are favourites this time, maybe.
Yeah, Algeria.
So that's pretty good result.
Algeria beat Senegal with a Riyad Mahrez goal in the final last time, 1-0. Kiai was captaining Senegal. Is he still their captain?
He is not. It's Idrissa Gueye now.
Oh, okay. Maybe he was injured last time or something. They had a few injury problems. Watford, though, on the other hand, have been out trolling the AFCON today, it would appear. Obviously, infamously now known as blocking Sarr and Emmanuel Dennis going to the AFCON. Dennis was back in training today. And Albert, Watford have posted a tweet saying back in training and then put the Nigeria flag in the tweet as well. And Nigerian fans don't appear to have taken to it very kindly.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to think that it's not intentional, but it's so crass that you almost like, well, it's got to be intentional, isn't it? Like that's
particularly when it's coming from Watford.
Well, listen, I have to, I have to do this bit quietly because the walls are thin. But yeah, it's out of order. Like not letting the players go is one thing, and then kind of like doing a subtle like "fuck you" by putting the, like you say, the day that they've done it, putting the flag on it. I mean, if it's not intentional, it's fucking stupid, and just smacks of disrespect any which way you cut it.
Yeah, well, they did manage to get a win without him. Iniacho scoring a goal against Egypt, Mo Salah's Egypt, no less. So it'll just about be right that Egypt will lose their next game, and then Salah will just leave early and be back in time to play us.
Great.
Hopefully not.
That's if he doesn't get a false positive COVID test like all those other Liverpool players got.
Yeah, mad how the odds of that are like 1 trillion times more unlikely than winning the Euro Millions, but 10 false positives, unlucky.
Yeah, mental, innit? Don't take any lateral flow test just after you've eaten. You want to be irresponsible, say if you want to give it a go, eat some Nutella and then do a lateral flow. Don't do that because you will test positive. I think that's about it. We should start talking about Brighton. Look at that. This might be a record. I think we're only about 25 minutes in here.
Well, can I just say I listened to the review show of the what are they called? Millwall game. Game, and they got 6 minutes in talking about Hambo's new dog, talking about Sam being pregnant, producer Sam, and
not me. I'm not pregnant.
It was barely 6 minutes in, and Mike Scott of the review show page was like, "Isn't this a football pod?" It's like, fucking hell, mate, you should come on ours.
Yeah, well, we are where we are. I think we talk about football a bit more now because it's quite fun. Like, how do you not want to talk about football when Elise and Eze is on the field? You know what I mean? Lovely stuff.
Absolutely.
We paid combined 23 million for those two, and Newcastle are just about to pay 25 million for Chris Wood.
Absolutely mad. They're paying more than twice than what we paid for Edouard. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's quite funny as well, though, that they have that 25 million release clause in his contract because they've obviously put that in there. Like, no one's going to pay 25 million for it. And now, in a bizarre twist of circumstances, a direct relegation rival has just basically taken the pretty much only goal scorer that Burnley currently have and have just crippled a relegation rival. It seems crazy.
Sean Dyche frantically on Google looking for a Chris Wood looky-likey that he can send up to Newcastle instead.
Or maybe he could go and pick up Andy Carroll, who's scored a couple of absolute bangers tonight. If you haven't seen this, Andy Carroll has scored a bicycle kick and a chest down first time volley from 25 yards into the top corner, both of which were disallowed for offside in a 7-0 defeat at home. How does that even happen?
Mad.
I mean, Fulham. I would say Fulham have scored 58 goals in 24 games this season. That's sort of Man Citying the Championship, it would appear. But yeah, crazy.
Going back to that Newcastle thing, though, like they get taken over by obviously, as shady as it is, obviously it's a huge amount of money behind Newcastle. And it's like, yeah, we're going to sign Mbappe. Yeah, man, we're going to sign Messi, Ronaldo. It's fucking Chris Wood from fucking Burnley.
And Kieran Trippier from Burnley.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, next up, if they add Josh Brownhill to their ranks, that's it, completely finished. Yeah, we're gonna sign Messi, and your new manager Eddie Howe says he's gonna build a team around John Joe Shelby. Oh, I really hope they go down. I really do.
I reckon we could get 18 million for Mateta, and he's not even ours.
Didn't we do that with Sorlot, basically?
Sorlot's the sort of player that I can see Sean Dyche bringing in to replace Wood. Big, tall, white, smack it on his head.
Shit.
Textbook Burnley, that.
Jaw as big as his shoulders.
Will score against Palace. Get him in.
Can't talk about. We talk about Benica Fobi scoring against Palace last week, and Lassie did. Very strange. Very strange that he seemed to dip his head in I don't know what when the Millwall fans were booing the Palace players taking a knee just before kickoff, and then he proceeds in scoring and cupping his ears to the Palace fans and giving it large. It was like, you really want to endear yourself to that lot? Not so sure they feel the same way about you, mate. But
after some fancy footwork from Jack Butland, similar. I did similar fancy footwork about 10 hours later after 8 pints.
Was that at the Oyster Bar that you sent us a photo of?
No, that was shut by then. Thank you very much. We moved
or
into the pub by that point. Very good.
I woke up in the morning to requests from you to come to Soho and the beers are on you.
Yeah, then we went to Soho.
You appear to have dodged Omicron though, so that's something.
I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't know how that fucking train going back into London Bridge after, like, fucking, I've seen cattle treated better.
You took the train. I thought you took the coach.
No, do you know what? I was going to take the coach, but I was just too scared of it. I was too scared of that. I was too scared of the train. Yeah, I don't really get that you're too scared to get the train set. I mean, the prices are expensive. I will grant them that, but I wouldn't say it invokes fear.
Yeah, very, very strange. Very, very strange. Especially considering a club coach goes everywhere to every away game and always has done since day dot, basically, that I can remember, including Millwall, Charlton, any of those ones, because you have old people that it's just a lot easier for them to do it that way. Very strange sentiment.
Can I just say we were giving ourselves a pat on the back for getting onto previewing Brighton, like in an orderly fashion,
like 10 minutes ago,
and now we're talking about oysters and coaches.
Well, we were talking about shrimps on the barbie, if you like, because we've got an Australian referee, Eskif.
We do.
Jared Gillett? Gile? Jared Gile?
I mean, he's Australian, I reckon, Gillett.
Is he the best we can get? No, it doesn't work, does it?
He comes from land down under.
I see what you did there. I thought you were just doing a shit Australian accent, but what you were really doing...
I was going for the Gillette.
For the Gillette, yeah. And that's why Billiam is doing voiceovers and not you, mate.
but he doesn't write them.
Get 10 times longer cooling with Colgate Plax mouthwash. Now, buy one, get one free at Boots.
What a pro.
What a pro. Just clean as a whistle.
Shrimp on the barbie.
What he hasn't told you... Sorry, what he hasn't told you is every time you play that, he gets about £6.
PRS check is coming through. You're welcome, Billiam. No, I was just going to say that shrimp on the barbie, I can never now hear without thinking of the time that I first met Vanessa's dad, my wife's dad, where he got all of her siblings to like turn off the telly and sit around the table. So it was like the whole family and me sat around the table. And then Vanessa fucked off, so I was on my own. And then he kept saying shrimps on the barbie to me. And I was like, I don't know him well enough to know if that's a joke or if he thinks that's an English thing. And then about 10 minutes later, Vanessa came in and was like, that's for Australian people. And he was like, oh, and then didn't say it again. So now, I think of that every time I hear it.
Mm. How was it when you met Joe's family for the first time, Albert?
Should we talk about Brighton?
Mike Scott is crawling himself, turning himself into a ball of rage listening to this now.
Was it him that accused us of sounding like pissed women at a wine bar, do you think?
Using his alias on the BBS.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I want to hear this story now. You've intrigued me.
Well, my wife's it wasn't the first time I met them, but it's quite early on. My wife's family name is, well, she's still bone of contention. She's still got her own surname. It's not a bone of contention at all. It's 2022, isn't it? Her surname's Finkel. So to her family, the Finkels. One of the first times I went round their house, I think I put the TV on, and on Sky Movies, there's a film called Swinging with the Finkels, and I got really weirded out. I didn't know if it was like some weird like subliminal messaging, but no, I can't remember the first time I met them. To be honest, it was so long ago, and happier times, wasn't it? So that's a joke.
I had when I was younger, I had a Jewish girlfriend who surname. The first time I met her parents was around parents, grandparents, all a lot around us. And just before we went in for the dinner, her mum pulled me to the side and said, look, the grandparents are really, really old school, and, they're not going to be happy if they find out you're not Jewish. So when they ask you your name, you should probably tell them that your surname's Fordsky. And I was like, what? And she was like, look, just do it. She's old. She's going to pop her clogs soon. Don't worry about it. She's on her way out. Just do it to keep an old woman happy. So sit down, having dinner, couple of glasses of wine. The old lady turns to me and asks me what my surname is. Hook, line, and sinker. I say Fordsky, and the whole table starts pissing himself laughing. I can't believe you actually said it. So fair play.
Well, I'll tell you what I said to the rabbi that married me and Joe at our pre-wedding meeting, but I'll save that as a tease for next week.
Okay. Remind us. Now, I suppose we should talk about Brighton. Is it Brighton Palace, Hesketh, without Lewis Duncan, Wilfried Zaha? It's going to be a weird one.
It is going to be a weird one. I didn't know that Dunk was out. I did have to clarify why he wasn't playing, because it could be a number of reasons, legal or injury. Same with Basuma, funnily enough. But yeah, it's going to be weird without them, because they're both sort of the pantomime villain, aren't they, in the game? But Brighton have got loads of players that I hate, so I'll find someone else to shout abuse at.
No Duncan, no Basuma. You got to fancy Albert. Those are Brighton's two best players, basically. Big misses for them. Obviously, we have our misses as well, but it's going to significantly weaken them. God, I can speak honest. Where's Billiam?
Well, have they got their equaliser? Just shout out to your beer again. Is their equaliser playing?
Yeah, Mopé's still about. He's
crybaby.
I think he scored another couple of injury time goals since we played them. They are the absolute masters here. You got to play right to the end against Brighton.
Are you sure they were equalisers? Because I've definitely seen those goals, and the celebrations suggest it's more of a winning type goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Brighton are the masters of taking 3 points from a draw. Yes. Oh no, they're allowed to celebrate, I suppose. It's becoming a thing it's their thing, They make T-shirts about 1-1 draws. It's fine. Let them get on with it. Your face. Are you gonna you feel like more or less intimidated than on Saturday, Hesketh, going to this one?
I don't really think I've ever felt intimidated going to Brighton, to be honest. Especially if I rock up to the stadium with you on one side and DR and Gusset on the other.
Oof.
No one can touch me.
If you want to borrow my flat cap, there is time for me to get it in the post, special delivery.
Your head's a lot bigger than mine, mate.
Yeah, that means they'll be more scared.
Is that how it works? The bigger the peak cap, the harder you are.
I mean, you live in Streatham, high road, £6. Probably a bit more now. This is 2010 prices.
Oh, well, you certainly would want me by your side after. Were you out back when the Millwall fans broke into the away end at the end of the game?
I was not.
Yeah, I was. And my immediate reaction was to rally people to the calls and then realise I was doing it in front of many police. And I was like, this probably looks really bad. I should probably stop. But it was all over before it basically started and they were gone.
I was going to say, to be fair, I do want you by my side at Brighton because you've got my ticket. So, practically speaking, yeah, I do need you there.
I don't have your ticket as of yet. I don't have my ticket either. Hopefully they will arrive, but who knows? Talking about the goals,
they're probably on the coach, you big fanny.
The last 3 games between Palace and Brighton has seen injury time goals. Albert, Brighton have scored 2 injury time goals to level up games, and Benteke has scored obviously a winning goal in the last minutes at the Amex, and the away team hasn't lost this fixture in the last 6, so good signs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't go into this game particularly scared of them as a footballing proposition. They've had some fairly decent results recently. But yeah, look, we're a good side. I'd like to think Elise will keep his place. Obviously the performance wasn't great on the whole on Saturday, but I do think there's, I'm not giving anybody any excuses, and no disrespect to Millwall. Of course, I don't mean that. All the disrespect to Millwall. I think there was a bit of and I think it's probably a subconscious thing. I think lots of that's why you have cup upsets all over the place. I do think sometimes it is hard to really raise your game against a lower opposition, just because there's some sort of psychology there of we're clearly the better team, and it can obviously keep you unstuck. But I'd like to think that we'll definitely up our game in terms of general performance on Friday, and if it is a similar team, I'm sure we'll see Edouard or Benteke start. Mateta probably won't. I don't know. But I think on the whole, the personnel is going to be the same, and hopefully they're all right to up their levels a bit and go into it with the intensity that this game needs.
Nicely put. certainly need, hopefully, the Millwall run out was a good one for Gallagher because he looked off the pace for large periods of that game. So hopefully they get that one under his belt and then be back to his very best against Brighton. Something's got to give in this game, Hesketh. When you hear this, there's been over 2.5 goals in Palace's last 5 Premier League games. So a lot of goals, we're basically saying.
Yeah.
But Palace have failed to score in the last 3 away games in the Premier League. There have been under 2.5 goals in Brighton's last 4 home games in the Premier League. And Crystal Palace have lost their last 3 Premier League matches away from home. So on the one hand, there's going to be loads of goals. On the other hand, there's going to be no goals. Which side of the coin do you think is going to fall on?
I think there'll be a decent amount of goals. There are in games, I think for the most part our defence looks all right, but I just struggle to see us keeping a clean sheet, which is a weird thing to say because I don't think we give up tons and tons of chances, but like against Millwall, obviously other than Butland sort of sticking about with the ball at his feet, they didn't really create much, but it didn't surprise me that we'd let in a goal. So I think Brighton will score. But at the same time, especially if Elise is on form again, and I think if we have Edouard on the left, which I think we will, in place of Eze, I think he can cause, both of them can cause a lot of trouble to Brighton. So, yeah, I was going to give away my prediction there, but now I've changed my mind on what my prediction is.
Well, you're on a winning streak after predicting 2-1 against Millwall, so follow it up with...
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Albert, optimism?
Yeah, I think someone's going to win it 2-1. And I can't sit here and say it's going to be Brighton, so I'm going to say we're going to win it 2-1.
I'm going to go for 1-1. Yeah, I'm just much like they're giants in the air. I still see us struggling for corners. I think Millwall created a couple of chances, some crosses, and the heading was just dreadful. Ended up being straight at Butland.
A lot of balls flew in towards the end, and there was a lot. I mean, it was the other end in the second half, but it seemed like there was lots of balls fizzed across the goal that people didn't quite get a foot on, or the ball was coming in thick and fast.
Yeah. I mean, we've certainly, there has been a level of improvement. Like, we're not just shipping goals left, right, and centre from set pieces like we were, particularly in the last couple of games where in the Premier League where we've played teams that have thrown the ball into the box against us, and we have coped with it largely. But then, you have Anderson has moments like he did against Spurs where he lets a 5'4" Brazilian out jump him. Those sorts of things. So, it just feels like it was a bit like last time Brighton. Eventually, they just threw so many balls into our box at Selhurst that in the end, it was just, the pressure got to the centre-backs and Gay let it bounce, as the Brighton fans love to say, and they got their chance and scored the goal. So, yeah, for a team that's going to put the ball in the box so much, I just feel like they'll score. But I also think it's difficult to stop us from scoring largely this season, although saying that we haven't scored in their last 3 away games, so hopefully that trend will be broken. But yeah, 1-1 with a player like Elise to just going forward, it's hard to see how you don't create chances. And Edouard's looked really good of late as well, so weird that, isn't it? No Wilfried Zaha, and we're confident that we'll score goals still. Strange times afoot, but I think that'll be enough for this week. Hesketh, Albert, thank you as always. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you haven't already, head over to youtube.com/Back of the Nest. DR's already got his midweek piece up on there. Look out for the match report this coming weekend. I think they're recording Saturday this week, but it will be recorded over the weekend, so that will be ready for you slightly before normal time, I would imagine. We are back next week. Who do we play? It is
Liverpool?
No, I think there's a game before that, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah, I feel like there's one before it. I don't know.
We should look these things up, shouldn't we?
No, I don't think there is,
No, there isn't. It is Liverpool.
It's
You're
Liverpool
right.
on the Sunday.
So, it's just so far away. The distance between the dates, the 14th and the 23rd, that would make sense. It's the following weekend still. So Liverpool.
And then we're not playing the following weekend.
The following weekend we don't play. That's correct. That's this weird sort of 1 week break they slotted in for seemingly unknown reasons. I will be heading to watch Bristol Rovers that weekend from the director's box, celebrating my best mate's dad's 50th anniversary of his first Bristol Rovers game.
Fingers
any mango
crossed.
coulis?
I was going to say,
any sort of...
fingers crossed the rice pudding's at an appropriate temperature.
Yeah, well, hopefully, we've been trying to get Ian Holloway to join us, so hopefully that will happen.
Albert, do you want to give him his hat so he can give it back to Ian?
I was going to say, for fuck's sake, don't let him make a speech.
Ear. No. But so we'll be back next week. We are recording on Wednesday. So it'll be in your ears on Thursday morning, ready for your commutes then, or whatever sort of things you do these days. I'm getting to work. So until next week, up the palace.